Satnam, good morning. Today we'll be practicing some archer and warrior poses. And before we jump into that, let's come into easy pose. And bringing hands into Jnana Mudra, thumb and index finger touching back of the wrist to the knees. Eyes are closed. And remember, we go behind closed eyes to start to connect with what is present for us internally. We start to detach from all the external distractions and choosing to go inward just for this next 29 minutes. So again, hands are in Jnana Mudra, eyes are closed. We're elongating through the spine and then connecting our sit bones down to the earth as we stretch up to that space above our heads, through the top of the head, and pulling shoulders away from the ears. And begin practicing our long, deep breathing, inhaling through the nose all the way down into the navel center. So you're expanding your diaphragm and your lungs with each whole, complete breath. We'll practice just a few breaths here. And let's go ahead and bring our hands into prayer mudra, palms pressing together. The thumbs are pressing into the sternum. Again, tuning into those shoulders, pull them away from the ears if they started to come up. And we open our practice chanting Om. We'll chant this 3 times. And remember, Om is considered one of the most divine mantras or prayers. And the myth behind Om is that it was the first sound the earth made while turning on its axis. And it's the vibration of life that resides in all living beings, great and small. So when we chant Om, we're connecting to that vibration. And if you're not comfortable chanting, that's okay. You can listen and you can choose to focus on another word or thought that resonates with you. Fritz, stop. It's okay, buddy. And just a reminder, I do watch dogs in my house, so we might have some visits from some canine friends throughout our practice. All right. And let's inhale and exhale and inhale to chant. Om. 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 And bringing our arm, keeping hands together, we raise our arms up overhead. Imagine you're pulling that light, that energy with you, and it's filling that space between your arms. And as you exhale, release your hands and imagine you're drawing that light around you. Almost like a beautiful protective sphere to guide you through your practice, to keep you safe and keep you present. We bring hands back down to our knees and start our Sufi Grinds. So, as I mentioned before, today we'll be practicing some warrior poses and some archer, which is all about strength and balance and focus. Choosing where we focus our energy, much how we practice when we are focusing up at this third eye. And before practicing, I was reading this beautiful reading. It's from one of my favorite daily readers, and it was so great. Like, it just was in line with the archer, with the essence of archer and warrior. I remember with these Sufi Grinds, we're elongating through the spine, and we're not slouching. So check in with those shoulders. Make sure you're keeping that heart open. And we're going forward with that inhale and then back with the exhale. Going in one direction, I'll let you know when to switch directions. So back to that reading, it was just so in line with archer and warrior. So I would love to share that with you. And you can just listen, and whatever comes up for you, whatever you hold on to, that's exactly, what your divine wisdom needs you to hear today. So one more time in this direction, let's inhale to center. And exhale, release. Continue that same movement going in the opposite direction. Getting needs met. This is out of my favorite reader. It's a little beat up. I want to change careers. I need a friend. I'm ready to be in a relationship. Regularly, we become aware of new needs. And we may need to change our behavior. We may need a new couch, love and nurturing, a dollar, or help. Do not be afraid of recognizing a want or a need. The recognition of a want or a need, the temporary frustration from acknowledging a need before it's met, is the start of the cycle of receiving what we want. And we follow this by letting go. Surrendering. Identifying our needs as preparation for good things to come. Acknowledging our needs means we are being prepared and drawn to that which will meet them. And we can have faith to stand with peace and strength in that place in between. All right, one more time in this direction. Inhale to center. Exhale, release, and let's come on into a wide-legged stretch. This is a kind of weird angle with my phone, but remember with this wide-legged stretch, you're reaching out through the heels as much as you're comfortable. If you're feeling strained or you're feeling like you're just pushing this a little much, you can always bring your feet back in a little bit. We don't want to push ourselves beyond discomfort. Okay, just a nice gentle stretch. Our toes are flexed, so they're pointing up to the ceiling. We're going to inhale the arms up over the head, reaching out through the top of the tip of the fingers. And then exhale, coming down to that left side. And then inhaling back up. And exhaling to the right. And continue that movement. Inhaling up. Exhale. Remember, really elongating through the spine as we come to center. And really honoring that center part of this transition by pulling in a complete inhale. And the next time you find yourself coming down to the left side, go ahead and pause here. We're going to take just a few long, deep breaths, stretching into this left leg. Shoulders pulled away from the ears. The head is reaching for the knee. It's okay if you don't get there. Just, oh, hi, Fritz. Oh, Fritz. Hey, buddy. Okay, one more time. And we're going to inhale back up to center. And then exhale over to the right. Hi, bye. Again, using that inhale and that exhale as the tool that they are. The breath is a tool. So we're inhaling. If you notice any strain or tension in the legs or the lower back, we're inhaling into that area, using the breath as a way to naturally release some of that tension. Oh, buddy. Okay, one more time. Let's inhale up and exhale. Release the arms and let's go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together. I'm going to start some spine flexes. So holding on to toes, ankles, or shins, whatever's in front of you, and if this doesn't feel right for you, you can always pull the feet a little farther away from the body. They don't need to be all the way up, but holding on to toes, ankles, or shins. Pulling the shoulders away from the ears, and we're inhaling the heart forward. Exhaling, rounding back. And continuing that movement. You guys know this movement. So, eyes are closed and you're focusing up at that third eye. Remember, we go behind closed eyes as a way to start detaching from all the external stimuli, as a way to releasing from comparing ourselves to others, and to start really recognizing how we speak to ourselves, really recognizing how we feel as we are practicing, as we are moving our bodies. And to start to recognize our thoughts, what feelings come up. And if you start to notice that your spine is waking up a little bit, maybe you're feeling a little less tension, a little more loosey-goosey in the spine, you can always pick up the pace a little bit. Remember, a flexible spine is a flexible mind. And one more time, let's inhale up and exhale, release. Let's go ahead and shake out those legs. We're gonna tap the heels on the ground, tapping the big toes together. Just doing a nice little massage on the legs. just sending some love, sending some gratitude. You can say thank you, legs, for helping me walk around, helping me stand, helping me dance through life. And let's go ahead, finish that up, and then we're going to come on up into tabletop. Just checking my time here. I'm going to start into some cat-cows. So you guys are, most of you should be familiar with cat-cow. If you remember this movement, you can go ahead and start into it. If it's new for you, our hands are underneath our shoulders, knees are under the hips. And toes can either be flat on the mat or tucked underneath. I personally like to tuck them underneath because I tend to have very tight arches, so it's a nice little stretch. And we're inhaling the tailbone up towards the ceiling and then dropping the back towards the mat as we lift the chin. This is cow. And then exhale, we round the tailbone towards the belly button, arching the back and bringing the chin down towards the chest into cat. So continuing that movement, inhaling up into cow, exhaling into cat. And you can continue that movement. I'm going to put my dog outside just real quick. And with our next transition from cow into cat, we're going to come into a dynamic cat-cow. So as you're transitioning from cow and you're bringing your tailbone towards your belly button, actually going to come sitting back on the heels in a child's pose. Bringing the forehead down to the mat. And then continuing forward to the top of your mat through your arms, back up into cow. And continuing that movement, you're drawing this circle with your entire body. This is another one of those movements that as you start to feel your spine waking up, you can pick up the pace a little bit. And the next time you find yourself in child's pose, go ahead and pause there, bringing the forehead down to the mat, stretching your arms along the mat above your head. Taking just a couple long, deep breaths here. You can do some shoulder openers while here in child's pose, bringing this left arm up and then threading it under the right arm. Returning your forehead back down to the mat. Opening the shoulder up for just a few breaths. We're turning that left arm back to the mat and doing the same thing on the opposite side, bringing the right arm up, threading it under. Inhaling, bringing that right arm back to the mat. Let's come back on up into tabletop. Hi, Nikita. And we're going to prepare for downward facing dog. So we're splaying our fingers on the mat so that you can grip the mat with each fingertip. And then we're going to tuck our toes under our feet, and then pushing our hips up towards the ceiling. And go ahead and pedal your heels here. So you get a little bit of a deeper stretch behind the leg. And we're going to kick this left leg up, swinging it on through to the top of the mat. And we have our left knee over this left foot. Okay. Checking in with those shoulders, pull them away from the ears. And that right leg is either strong behind you with the knee lifted and that right heel lifting up to the ceiling. Or if you need to be a little more grounded, you can drop that right knee. And then it'll look the same with that knee lifted or lowered. We're going to bring our hands up to that left knee. And from here, once you have found your balance, we're going to lift our arms up overhead. Coming into warrior just for a few breaths. Feeling that strength, feeling that focus. Again, if you have your knee on the ground, looks just like this. Still, but our arms are reaching up overhead. And then from warrior, we're going to go ahead and drop this right heel so that the outside of the right foot is parallel to the back of the mat. And then we're going to bring our hands into prayer mudra. And then just like an archer, we're finding our focus and then pulling back our bow. Our focus is this thumb. We're focusing here on this thumb. And our bow behind us, I know you can't really see that in the video, but we're reaching out through this right elbow. Again, that that left knee is this over the left heel. And we're feeling that focus elongating through the spine, really opening up this heart. And let's step forward into mountain pose. And palms are together, bringing arms up over the head. Exhale, swan dive down into a full forward bend. And then we're going to step back with the left foot and then with the right, and lowering self down into surrender, pushing up through cobra, rolling shoulder blades away from the ears, and then coming straight from here into downward facing dog. We're tucking our toes, pushing hips up, towards the ceiling. And then we're going to do that same thing on the opposite side. Bringing the right leg up, swinging it through to the top of the mat. Low lunge, rolling those shoulder blades away from the ears. And remember, right knee is over the right foot. And that left leg can either be strong behind you with the knee up, or if you need a little more of a hip opener, a little closer to the ground, you can always drop that left knee. And when you're feeling ready, we bring our hands up to rest on the knees. Rolling shoulders away from the ears. And when you feel ready, in this position, we bring our arms up into warrior. Taking a few long, deep breaths here in warrior. Bringing hands together. We drop that left heel. So the outside of that left foot is parallel to the mat. And we bring our focus, again, making that thumbs up with that right, and then we pull back our bow. Archer. Roll the shoulder blades away from the ears, elongating through the spine. The heart is open, and it's facing to the left side of this mat. Taking just a few long, deep breaths here, and then stepping forward, back into Prayer Mudra. And let's see, what time is it? Oh, perfect. So we'll go ahead and close our practice. Chanting Sat Nam 3 times. Sat Nam means I am truth. And before we close our practice, really honoring the strength and the courage that it takes to be on this path of healing, to be taking this journey one step at a time, remembering that you are just such a beautiful light. So let's, we'll come standing back up, and we'll close with 3 Sat Nams. Inhale and exhale, and inhale to chant. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Peace to all, light to all, love to all. Sat Nam. And that was a great practice, you guys. Remember to take a couple of minutes to rest, rest afterwards. Non-action is just as important as action. Okay, Fritz. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Sat Nam.